When looking for the king of podcasts, you're at the wrong channel.
Well, excuse me!
Looking for good ideas for life? You're far from good hands.
Hey, bud, what's your problem?
If you think the listener is always right, you're far from the right place.
Out of order! Even in the future, nothing works!
Hosted by a Northeasterner by birth, but a rebel by choice.
Are you threatening me?
If you want a host that floats between love and madness,
and we know the night is always gonna be here anyway. Thinking of you's working up my appetite, looking forward to a little afternoon delight.
then play on and listen to Crazy Train Radio.
All right, guys, listen to this blues riff and B. Watch me for the changes and try and keep up, okay?
Within the gaming world, there are your general gamers, but then there are those that enjoy the dark underbelly of gaming. If you're one of those that enjoy the dark underbelly of gaming, we certainly got the place to send you. Scorpion Lair Games. That's right, Scorpion Lair Games is the creators of the true crime hit Killers, the card game. Let's not forget they also have Killers Clothing Company, their profiler game, and things like the 5-Minute Murder channel on YouTube. And we certainly can't forget the new book that is certainly a hit, Beyond the Headliners, True Crimes, Myths, and Legends. Make sure you visit Jeff and the Scorpion Lair Games on Facebook and everywhere today.
Hi, this is Eileen Dietz, and you probably know me best from The Exorcist. And what I want you to do, I had a great time with an interview with Crazy Train Radio. So listen to Crazy Train Radio. You have no idea who you're going to be able to hear next. Bye-bye.
Hey folks, it's your least favorite host in the podcast world, Croc, Jonathan Steele. And boy, do we have a good one for you today.
Before we get started, folks, we also wanted to let everybody know that is listening to this interview. It is being recorded on the D&D Fitness Apparel line. D&D Fitness Apparel is a Memphis-based comedy and clothing startup brand that is helping you reclaim the quality gym wear that you want to have on, but also does all the talking for you because you want to be comfortable while you are there to
Pump you up!
Feel free to visit them at dndfitapparel.com. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Boy, we got a good one here today. Our next guest is known for many things she's done throughout her career, but many fans from our show and across the board know her as playing Pazuzu as well as Linda Blair's double, we'll say, in the great classic, The Exorcist. You know, there's just so much to get into. We're going to get into conventions and all that fun stuff. So why don't we go ahead and welcome Miss Eileen Dietz.
Hello.
So, Miss Eileen Dietz, how are you? Good to see you.
I just disappeared. I only have half a head. What happened?
You only have half a head.
Yeah, on my end. Can you see? There we go. I got it.
Okay. You had me worried there because I was going to say we might have to get you to a hospital if you have half a head.
Do what?
I said we might have to get you to a hospital if you had half a head.
or do more horror films.
Yeah. We either way, we might need to call for expertise there. If that's all we're dealing with. So,
Okay.
How have you been?
Say what?
I said, how you been? I hear you've been a busy bee.
I've been very, very, very busy.
And this is a good busy, right? Between conventions and shoots and stuff like that.
Couldn't be better. Well, it could always be better, but it almost couldn't be better.
Well, yeah, maybe we hit the lottery, something like that, you know.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So, what would you say is keeping you most busy? Is it the conventions? Is it shooting independent stuff? What's keeping our plates full?
It varies. It goes back and forth. Right now, it's just conventions, a lot of conventions that I'm doing. And wait till October.
Oh, no. During spooky season, I can't put two and two together on that one.
Well, I'm going to Buffalo for a place called the Nickel Convention, if any of you guys are there. And that's on the 26th of this month. And then I'm going to, where am I going? Nashville, Tennessee, on sometime around I think it's the 10th, 11th, something like that.
Absolutely.
The
Sorry,
next
go ahead.
A convention in Long Beach called Midsummer Scream.
Oh, I've heard of Midsummer. And it's funny, you met him previously during our brief chat before we did the viewing of Exorcist. But my normal horror co-host, Brian, it couldn't be here today. His damn day job, wanting to pay the bills. But no, he said to let you know that the offer still stands for when you do Nickel City for buffalo wings and all that fun stuff. So.
Oh yeah. You were going to send me he was going to send me the name of the restaurant.
Yes, I will get that information and forward it to you email wise. So I will make sure that gets over to you. But
now, does he live in Buffalo?
Yes, he does. He's from Buffalo. He lives there, and that's why that's a standard offer for those who come to the Buffalo area for Nickel City or the one that's right across the way there, Niagara Falls.
Yeah, I did Niagara Falls 2 years ago.
Yeah, so.
Yeah, I just love their conventions are fabulous.
I've heard nothing but wonderful things about them, up there.
Where are you at?
I'm in Philadelphia.
I went through Philadelphia to go to the New Jersey HorrorCon.
In Atlantic City, it just happened.
That's true.
Right on. So with the convention scene, what is probably the most popular thing that comes across your table when folks come to meet you? But also, what would you say is the most unique item that you can think of
that I have? That I sell?
No, that people like fans will bring you, and because talking to a lot of folks who work the convention scene, actors, actresses, just everything. Sometimes, you get the usual, the 8x10s, you get this, you get that. But then sometimes they get people will come with like these unique, and like it floors them.
Yeah, well, I'm going to do this first. This is the most unique thing I have. Can you see it good?
Yes, the figure for Pazuzu.
Yeah. And I can't keep them on my table. And you can only get them from me. And the man who makes them, his name is Luther Butler. He has a website, but he has no interest in retail or wholesale or anything like that. So these are totally unique and totally an investment. So I will have them at the conventions. Plus, you know what I can't keep on my table anymore?
What's that?
Captain
The
Howdy's
book.
green pea soup.
Nice. That's something I wouldn't have thought of.
Yeah, it was
But
just Louisville, Kentucky.
oh, nice.
They were gone by, it was just Saturday and Sunday convention, which a lot of people are doing now, which I don't particularly like. I like, because when you fly in Thursday, and usually there's a big time difference. And so if you'd fly in Thursday and do a con Friday night, so you could kind of relax all day on Friday, catch up with the time changes, set up my table. But now you come in Friday, run over there at 9 a.m., set up my table, which is a little shop. And my suitcase is almost as big as I am. And but it is what it is. And the green pea soup cans sold out by 1 o'clock on Saturday.
But that's a good thing.
That's a wonderful thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I
Also, and I don't know.
Took a mail order from one person, and so I could send it to her.
Nice. I don't know if you have it at the shows, but I'd be remiss not to mention about your book.
Then I happen to have a copy of that right here too. I'm so prepared.
Oh, look at yes, the book is called Exorcising My Demons: An Actress Journey to the Exorcist and Beyond. So I would think that'd be something that flies off the shelves too. Or do you notice more people wanting to grab that from you online?
Oh, no. It's better to get it at the shows if they can, because then I can autograph them. And I do a lot of sales online.
Right on.
I think it was called the Griffin Collective. That was on a YouTube thing. They have 500,000 followers. At any rate, I did an interview for them and sold 50 books. So I now know shipping and handling is. Yikes.
Yeah. Well, make sure a little tip, because I send books out often, or trade and stuff, depending on what people need or what I need. Make sure you check out Media Mail if you go to the post office.
Check out what?
Media Mail. It'll be a lot cheaper.
Okay. I always send them 2 day because they're safer and I can track them.
Okay, yeah, you can with Media Mail too, but yeah.
Okay, I'll check it out. But while we're on that subject, yikes, I just made an audiobook.
Awesome.
This, and if you can publish that, because I can't sell
absolutely
sections, and I guess we should say the beginning of the book is biographical. I didn't write it. I talked it to a fabulous writer named Dan Loubier. And the first part of the book is how I became an actress. And this kind of little flat-chested, buck-toothed little girl from New York City said, I want to be an actress. And everybody went, yeah, right. Of course. Right.
That's nice, dear. That's a little pat on the head. Yeah, that's nice, right?
I talk about negativity in the book and following your dreams. And my sister once said, if you drop a dream, it breaks. So it's about following your dreams. And if you have to not talk about it because of all the negativity, you can do that too. So the whole first of the book is about that, and highs and lows about me becoming an actress. I had a Me Too incident at Summerstock that they talk about. And then funny stuff, like we went to see Peter Pan when I was 7 at a Broadway theater. And I thought that if I jumped on the stage, I could be one of the lost boys, which seemed very smart. And then I realized, what if I missed? I would land up in the audience, so I fell asleep. But that's what the book is like. And then we get to everything you've ever wanted to know about The Exorcist, about somebody who was there, including how I got the audition itself, which was kind of funny, and the screen test, which was even funnier. And then we go to meeting Linda Blair and Billy Friedkin and stuff. And I talk about the masturbation scene, how he directed it. And that's very funny. So I wanted to talk about funny things that happened on the set rather than, the second biggest question I'm always asked is, oh, did those scary things happen on the set? And I'd rather talk about funny things. So we
Yeah.
just talk about anything. But Billy Freakin directing the masturbation scene was like really wild. And it's all in the book. And I narrate the book myself because it's all in person. So if you like audio.
I do. I like both, but I'm, as you can see, a physical book guy myself. So, and that's just one shelf like that.
Wow.
Yeah. It's funny, and it just clicked with me as far as the masturbation scene goes. And if you can tell it, great. If not, I respect it. Because there's a lot of religious undertone with the film and the story and possession and just everything it is with The Exorcist. But do you have a religious background yourself? Because I know some people you say, okay, hey, we're going to do this in terms of that scene and stuff, what's written.
I have a spiritual background.
Okay, but you know what I'm saying? You get somebody who has a spiritual background. I ain't doing what with the crucifix? Why? You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's what makes the movie so scary, and that's why the movie's still alive after 50. They got a problem. It always amused me that the Catholic Church banned the movie, but they win, because the demon goes out the window. So it's a happy ending for the Catholic Church.
You would think. And the funny part is,
because they didn't want people asking for exorcisms.
Yeah, because that's what I was just going to say. And Brian told me, as a movie expert and stuff, which is true, because when you think about it, not many people really were talking or asking about it, etc., exorcisms, until the movie came out, the book and the movie. Then it was like, oh, people came out of the woodwork who had no clue what they were asking about, like the legitimacy of things. So it's like, yeah.
Well, they found out a lot about it, people who wanted to find it. It's kind of like after they elected a new pope, suddenly everybody wanted to see the conclave, which was about electing popes. And if they want to find out about exorcisms, they can Google it.
Yeah, exactly. But did you read the book before taking a role?
Oh, yeah. Well, when I went to really quickly, I was doing a play at a little theater in New York City called the Cabiculo. And there were a couple casting directors that came to see the show. It was written by Joyce Carol Oates, who you might know. She really wrote about boxing. And this was a prologue, the show I did. And they came to see, and they called me, my agent, the next day, and they said, do you want to audition for this small film? It's just a small horror film. And I said, of course. And when I went to the audition, they gave me the book and said, read it and come back and do some improvisations from the book. And of course, I read it in one sitting. It's the book. If anything can be better than the movie, the book is. It's an incredible book. And it has a totally different ending.
Exactly. And
so, yes, I did read the book.
Well, what do you think?
Actually, I sell the book. I sell the book either online or at conventions, the original book, with permission from Bill Blatty's son, because I didn't know if I could sell something like that belonged to somebody else. But he said, go ahead, no problem. So I do sell the book. And people who really love The Exorcist should really, really read the book. It's a very, very fast read.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? And I heard you mention this, but on other outlets. But, and I've come across you, I guess this is 3 times now, twice virtually, then actually in Atlantic City briefly, recently at that show. And she is one of the nicest ladies you'd ever want to meet.
Ooh.
And the movie is fabulous. What's that?
Who did you meet?
You.
Oh, me.
Yeah, you. Talking about you.
Okay.
So, one of the nicest ladies you can meet and everything like that. And obviously the movie is a classic and all that fun stuff. But I heard you say people will come across you and get a kick out of you, oh, she's awesome, she's nice, she's this, she's that, all good things. But then it's, oh no, I can't watch the movie because you'll ask them something like, oh yeah, what's your favorite scene or what's this or what, making conversation with them. Oh no, I can't watch it. And even though they see you're okay and you're normal, they still, it's like, no, like their reaction's like, oh no, like backpedal real quick.
You know what I usually say is, okay, you've met me now. Open the windows, watch the movie in the afternoon with the sunlight pouring in.
Yeah, no, that makes
Sometimes
perfect
they
sense.
do, and sometimes they're, the hype is just so big. The hype, I think, is even bigger than the movie. I think it's not quite as scary as people think it's gonna. I mean, it's very scary, but not quite as scary as people think it is.
Well, what is something that were you a horror fan growing up and before the film, or is that something you picked up later on?
Uh, that's a good question. Yeah, I don't know if I was totally a horror fan, but I always liked horror, like Psycho, for instance. And eventually I did a play that Tony Perkins directed. And so we became really good friends before he died. But, we saw Psycho. Roman Polanski actually had a film out. So, and something else Susan Strasberg was in. So I actually found them. I didn't look for them. And the exciting part was that my mother always took us to see the Swedish films that Max von Sydow was in. So I knew who he was before I stepped on the set. So that's not horror, but they're fascinating films.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, obviously, besides Pazuzu, you did some scenes as we were hinting at, filling in for Linda Blair for things like the pea soup and
For
whatever.
who? For who
For
did you say?
Linda, for
Who's that?
Linda,
I don't know who that is.
Linda Blair. Yeah, some lady who works with animals and stuff. Yeah, who's
Yeah.
earning
Oh,
her
that's the
saint.
person who has a bunch of dogs, right?
Working on her sainthood for that aspect of life. But so
Oh,
how
so
did
the
it work?
question, I'm sorry. Well,
No,
yes, I did a lot of other scenes.
yeah,
I was made up to look, we call it, because it wasn't a double or a stunt double,
yeah,
we call it the demon who possessed Reagan.
right,
And, but I was still made up to look like Reagan. And I did all the fun scenes.
yep,
Besides the aforementioned masturbation scene, I did the vomiting, I did the
yeah,
levitation, I did the death scene at the end. I did the famous shot that they use all the time where I'm kind of like that in front of the statue of Pazuzu. No, I
yeah.
worked on it for almost 4 months. It was,
That's what I was going to get at though. With when they brought you on, did you know, hey, I'm going to do all this, or was it just brought in for one or two things, and they said, oh, you know what, Elaine could do that, or she could do
well,
this. She, you know what I
what
mean?
happened is something happened that was close to that. That they, my agent did, I think it was a guaranteed 6 or 8 weeks, something like that. And then they decided they only needed me for 2 weeks. And my agent said, okay, you have to pay the same amount you were going to pay for 6 weeks, for 2 weeks. That's what agents do. And
Yeah.
they said, "Never mind, we'll keep it as it was." And then I guess they liked my talent when I got on the set, or the screen test, and I did do a screen test. And then they kept asking me to do more things and more things and more things.
So they
I've
ended
had,
up using you for the 6 weeks anyway.
yeah, but and then it started a month earlier because they wanted me to come to Washington D.C. just to walk across the floor when the picture that with The Exorcist that's the famous one with the film. And when Father Merrin arrives at the house under the light, and you can almost see in the background the building. Well, I walked across that floor. If you look really carefully, you can see me.
I'm gonna have to go back and look at that.
That's not true. You can't see me in the you can't see me in the poster that they used. So then they had to pay me for an extra month, because in showbiz, a lot of times, at least back then, they had to pay you a holding fee, because you could go shoot something else if you wanted, and then you wouldn't be available for them. And you always had to be available for The Exorcist.
Yeah, and that was like a 14-month project, all said and done, right?
You wanted to know what the best line from the whole movie was?
What's that?
Any kids listening, but who do you have to fuck to get off this movie?
That is, I love it. That's great.
And stuff like that, and that line gets people all the time. But it was really
yeah.
So long that people just wanted to leave, especially the staff. The secretary, like that. They're not used to working on anything for 14 months. They want to move on. And we wanted to move on. Kitty Wynn, who of course played the assistant, and cut her part way down from the book. The book is actually three things. It's the spiritual, the medical, and the possession. And Kitty Wynn did the spiritual. And she was offered to do Cat on the Hot Room, the Glass Menagerie with Katharine Hepburn. And they said, oh, no, you can't go to London. She was just about finished. And then the people said, well, what if we shoot in New York? Would that be okay? And what if we rehearse I'll get the story straight. What if they rehearse in New York and then shoot it in the UK? And they said no to that. So Linda wasn't able to. I'm doing really well this morning. Dunk. So
it's okay.
Wasn't allowed to do it. And then I was offered a commercial that happened to be the last day of shooting. And they didn't want to do that either, which was the day we shot Pazuzu. So Thank God there. And we shot the whole thing in the morning, put me in a limo, washed my face, washed my hair, ran out and did the commercial. And that's all in the book too.
Yeah, I remember you telling the story. That was one of your favorite days, because they were go to get you set, and so they can move you so you can go to the other gig.
Yeah. but it all worked out.
Yeah. And it's funny that I'm surprised that whether it be Warner Brothers or whoever, who, I don't know whose lap it would fall on, that there was never any like Pazuzu masks or anything like that.
No, but I have one.
Is this the one where you do with the?
And if you come to the conventions and do a photo op, we can do it with Pazuzu. Nice. And I also do cameos with Pazuzu.
Beautiful. We'll put the cameo link as well on that.
I don't know what it used to sit up here, but it's not sitting there. But I got it from Mexico. They just sent it to me, and it looks just like Pazuzu. It's a great match. But no, you can't buy it in like Halloween shops or stuff like that. And the makeup itself is really difficult to put on. People think
absolutely.
But Dick Smith was such a genius, and I miss him a lot. Dick Smith, I'm sure you guys know the godfather of makeup.
Yes.
Of makeup. And he passed about 5 or 6 years ago. But we became friends. And you know what else's other brilliance was? That, in my opinion, which of course is the right one, that when we first did makeup tests for Linda, for Reagan, there were big eyebrows and things and really kind of a monster. And he went, no, that's not going to work. And they took it down and they took it down until you have the face with the scratches on it. The reason it worked so well is because everybody could identify with it, like they couldn't identify with the monster. So Reagan could have been the parents' little girl when they opened up the door, and it always came after the door. And little kids thought that they were going to they were going to be possessed, or big kids. So that's what I think is one of um, the lasting and why The Exorcist is still so popular now. People freaked out because they could identify with that character.
Absolutely. I know there's a story out there, and I'm sure it's in the book as well, but there's a story out there that they were blaming you for a time period for not getting the Oscar. And obviously that shook
Oh,
you
Linda
too.
still does.
Yeah, well,
50
yeah.
years later, Linda still does. She
Uh,
blamed me and Mercedes McCambridge, who did the voice, but Mercedes McCambridge passed on. It's absolutely ludicrous. It's like I walked into the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, and I
you
went,
had that much
"Listen,
stroke,
everybody, don't give Linda Blair an Oscar. Don't do it." So they all listened to me and didn't give her an Oscar. It's absolutely absurd. And Warner Brothers released a story that I was in LA, which is what set up the controversy about who did what. But that was planned by Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
It was around Watergate, and it was really who did what in this movie, and they created themselves the question of who did what.
Exactly. But obviously you thought your career was over and it shook you, obviously. But how long would you say it took you to get rid of that shaking off that continue working?
Well, there were two agents that were going to sign me when I came out to LA. And you know about living with your gut, and which I try now. When I was in New York and I realized all the stuff was going on, my gut told me, don't go out to LA. Just stay in New York City, let it all happen and see what happens. But my ex-husband talked me into going, and that's when the shit hit the fan. If I had stayed in New York and just kind of complained about it, then they would have brought me out for The Heretic, which they did not do. So, but then there were two agents that were going to sign me, and the studios had a different kind of control then. And so the agents totally dropped me. And yes, you're right. I thought my career was over, and I thought my dreams were over. I always had dreamed of that. That's another thing that Dan Louvier writes so brilliantly. I had a meeting with Billy Freakin, and I was walking on the Warner Brothers lot, and all my dreams were coming true. And, this is where all those actors were, and the sun was shining. And I walked in the office, and Billy Freakin comes out and goes, "You're never going to work in this town again." Well, the sun went away. The balloon was punctured, and it was just towards perseverance and whatnot that I finally found a small little boutique agency. And I did a Barnaby Jones, I did a Happy Days, I did General Hospital, and then I put my
Helter Skelter.
And now with the advent of indie films, that I've done so many indie films, and I'm really so grateful that that I've been this, if I can use the expression, this icon, and people want me in their movies.
Yeah, and some of those indie projects are things like The Haunting of Michael Barlow, Desert Fiends, Staycation, Appetite for Sin. All of it ends, and on and on. And that's just within the past year and a half, 2 years that it's come out. So
yeah, I'm very blessed. I just did a really I did a film called Grandma's Cookies, which is a short film. It's a wonderful little, and I think finally you can get it. It's not playing it in the streaming, but you can click on it and get it if you get in touch with me. And humbly speaking, I've won 3 awards for that movie that are actually behind me as Best Actress Award in a film. And I did something else called Beverly Hills Exorcist. I play a disembodied head. And these real estate people need to get me out of this house so they can rent the house. But it's a lot of FX. It's brilliant. That's not out there yet. So those are the 2 films I'm really, really proud of. And these trophies in the back. There's a short film festival in LA, the LA Short Film Festival. They had 5,000 submissions, and I won for Best Actress in a short film for Exorcist, Beverly Hills Exorcist. And you guys look for it to come out. It's
Absolutely.
really an experience, both of those. And then I just did another short film that wasn't a horror. I play a woman that catfishes this guy. I put my picture on as 40 years old, and he comes over and goes, "Where's B?" That's me. No.
No, you're not the person I saw on. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's really brilliantly written. It's called Okeechobee, which is a town in Florida. So now that I've given you my new credits.
Absolutely. So as we sit, it's mid-June of 2025 that we're taping this. Because like I said, when we started, you've been a busy bee, all in a good way, whether it be the conventions, the independent projects, etc. What do you wish to accomplish the rest of 2025? What's on the books? What are you looking forward to?
Just more films. And I think I'm going to do a film in December called Aunt Betty, which I'm going to read the script, and something else. Films, unlike conventions, they book you months and months ahead. Films, they just pop up. And I'd like to do more films because, except for the money, I'd rather shoot a film than do a convention.
Yeah. So, let me ask this, because I like this as we wrap, to kind of get it.
Way.
What's that?
I don't break the bank when I do when I do indie films and stuff like that. So, yeah. You have a choice of Dee Wallace or me. It depends how much money you have.
Exactly. And all that stuff.
Right. He introduced me to my manager, Chris Rowe. So I didn't.
Chris is great. Chris is a good dude.
Yeah. And I wasn't doing anything. And it's in the book too, of course. But I wasn't doing anything. The joke was I couldn't get arrested if I smoked cocaine in front of a cop. And, I ran into Dee at a place called the Church of Religious Science, which is not Scientology or anything else. It was put together in the 30s. And it's about creating your own life, basically, and finding what you want and knowing it's out there. And it kind of like, positive thinking, but not really, because you asked me about religion before. We really believe all the prophets, from Moses to Christ to Buddha. We just believe in all of those prophets, and they live within us. Anyway, I ran into Dee and I said, "What are you doing? You're running around." And she said, I go to these horror conventions." And I said, "What? What are they?" And she kind of explained it to me, and then I found out. And this is the way the church works. It's not coincidences. It's just when you put it out there, it comes back to you. So subsequently, I had dinner with a friend of mine who wrote a play I was in. And he said, "Hey, do you know your picture's on the cover of Fangoria magazine?" Yeah, that was Pazuzu. I said, "No." And there were pictures on the cover of a book. So that's when I told Dee that all that was happening. And Dee introduced me to Chris. And the rest is history. And it's all in the book, guys. But if you want that audio book, I guess you go to a website. And you get audio books.
What I was going to say too, there's also a link on EileenDietz.com where they can click to go get the audio book as well, or they can email you as well to get physical copies.
I'm sure you can't order anything from the website. I don't have that set up. So if you want to get anything else from the website, like the statue behind me that you can see, then either Facebook me or I have 3 Facebooks. Please Facebook me, the one with my husband, or email me at EileenDietz11@gmail, and we'll take care of you.
Yes. But what I was getting at there was contacts on there to get a hold of you to do that, all that stuff. But, final question. And I like this because it kind of allows you to kind of get to know the guests a little bit, besides what we've talked about already. But let's have a little fun with it. If we were to come to the Dietz household with you and your husband and stuff, in a relaxed setting,
I'm sorry.
what are we do? What are we doing? What kind of entertainment are we watching? What kind of food? What are we doing?
I didn't hear the thing. You said if so and so. I don't know what the beginning of your point was.
Oh no, I was saying if, let's say, I happen to visit the Dietz household, what kind of entertainment? What are you guys? Are you guys TV people? Are you movie people? What kind of
big football fans?
You're sports fans.
Football. We have 3 projectors that go on different screens, and then we have the TV and the football package. And so if you came, if you came Monday night, Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, that you would find football in our house. And one of the screens is a 10-foot screen. So I like baseball too. And obviously I like the Dodgers. So if you put the Dodger game up on the screen, it feels like you're there. And kind of cool. And our other passion, if you came by the house and we weren't here, we have a boat, and we take it out to outside of Laughlin, Nevada, to a place called Lake Mojave. My husband always says, he says, yeah, we're taking the boat out to the desert. So, but we're going to go, I do a convention, and right after the convention, we're going to go out there for the July 4th holiday, and we take our boat down to the dam and watch the fireworks, and then I come home, and I got 2 days to go to Nashville. But that's fine. It doesn't make me crazy. You just plan ahead.
Yes.
So those are our 2 passions: football and our boat. And we're very, very lucky to have found each other. That someone else who was camping, boating, because we camp out on one of the coves, and at night we count shooting stars in the lake.
Well, I am glad you are having fun. You're keeping busy. And folks, go to the website, reach out to her, grab the book, grab the figure, grab all that stuff if you see her at a show. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat.
If you see me in a show, mention this interview, and we'll talk about it.
Absolutely.
And don't forget, order my audiobook, because I made it, so now I'm going to sell it.
Hey folks, looking for the ultimate destination for the nerd enthusiasts and collectors? Well, we found the spot for you. Nerds Nest Collectibles is a haven for nerds, geeks, and fans alike, as they have many different products and certainly more to come. Make sure you go ahead and visit them at nerdsnestcollectibles.com. Check them out.
Hi, I'm Victor Miller, and I was Jason's father, and I wrote Friday the 13th. I got 3 Emmys, 4 Writers Guild Awards, spent a lifetime in television, and have not regretted it one bit. But go to Crazy Train Radio. If you can say it, find it. Don't miss it, because if you miss it, you will have lost an incredible adventure.